You're wasting your time respecting your boss, or are you? I'm here today to wonder all about how you can command respect from everybody around you. And doing so, I'm looking at this particular study. This particular study knows all about it. It adds as a foundation. Within it, it showed that transformational leadership is really important. And you too become a transformational leader, both in your workplace and in different aspects and all aspects of your life. This study looks at 181 people who were surveyed and their perceptions of their boss and their immediate, not just bosses, but supervisors also in their companies. They didn't actually feel that the leaders within their organization actually respected or had transformational leadership or even ethical leadership. What they found was that if you actually show transformational leadership, you're going to help others respect and give you a commanding respect from others. Now that's really amazing. Now if you look at the Black Lives Movement, you'll notice that when it began, Black Lives Movement realised that it wanted to just bring attention to equality for black people so that there wasn't all this violence against them or there wasn't all this type of prejudice against them. And as it gathered momentum over the years, you'll notice how when there was people killed or if there was a violence happening, then it actually built the amount of attention that was going towards the actual Black Lives Movement. So that means the leaders up there actually command more respect. Even though they started off trying to genuinely bring attention to this worthy cause, which was equality for black people, inadvertently what actually happened was their respect became much, much bigger. So if you in your workplace or even in your life, if you come up with a cause or have a cause that is really big, then you can actually piggyback off that particular cause. Now, it can't be intentional, it must be very natural. You have to have a passion for the cause as well. So if there's a case where something needs to be done and nobody's doing it, this is how leaders are made. Somebody steps into the breach and they go, well, I'll have a crack at that, I'll just do it. Now, even if you don't succeed at doing it, and it doesn't have to be something as big as the Black Lives Movement, but even if you don't succeed at doing that, you can actually become really successful because others, one by one, will begin to respect you. And all you really need, believe it or not, is 2 or 3 people around you to really respect you. And if you get that, those 2 or 3 people then start telling 2 or 3 others that they respect you. It just flows through them, the respect that they actually have for you and your commanding presence. So with that, then you suddenly have 10, 12 people around your circle that actually respect you. So if you get it wrong the first time or you can't achieve what you set out to achieve in getting that respect, you already have 10 people because you've tried something, maybe not something as big as Black Lives Movement, but you're going to actually get that respect and have those people. And once you come up with something else or something else comes about, you're actually going to have a beneficial respect from other people. And that is actually vital to building this commanding respect from everybody. If you think about great leaders such as even sporting leaders, Jurgen Klopp, the Liverpool manager, he was one who in 2019 and 20 won the English Premiership for the very first time for Liverpool. Even though they had won the league many times before, the actual Premiership was only new for about 20 odd years. So this is the first time in 30 years that they had won it. And he was an outsider, a German, that came into this club. And he showed that if you have this kind of happiness in what you do, and if you actually join with the situation and the cause, your efforts and your energies, you'll actually, as I said before, naturally piggyback onto that cause. Now it's really important that it's natural that you piggyback onto the cause. If you just pick a cause out of nothing and just say, oh, I'm going to champion that cause, I'm going to make that my cause, just for the sake of you getting to the top or getting that respect from others, that's not going to work because, as I said, you're going to have 2 or 3 people around you. But by the time they tell 2 or 3 others each, and you have 10, 12 people around you that respect you, somebody somewhere will notice that this is not being genuine. It has to come from passion from within. And in the case of Klopp in Liverpool, he was a football man. This was a football city in Liverpool. This was a football team. So he respected that, they respected him, so it was a match made in, well, Liverpool. If you look at other people, the likes of inspirational leaders such as Nelson Mandela, he used his intellect, his intelligence to actually lead. And the great thing about him was that he was not just a black man, but he also was a guy who was in the minority of his country where there was bickering going on between blacks and whites. And then, worse again, he got imprisoned. And being in prison meant that he had no power to go out and about and try and influence people and get into their faces and talk to them, show them his presence, show them his charisma. It just wasn't happening. It couldn't happen because he was in jail. But his intellect, his intelligence, and of course his patience meant that little by little, those building blocks of people around him, those 2 and 3 people around him, began to increase. His actions and intellect and him showing throughout decades that patience and confidence of what you're actually doing and saying will actually become rewarding. And what happened? Not only did he get his freedom, but he inspired the South African nation to winning the Rugby World Cup. And then he became also the president of the nation. So this inspirational values, this transformative leadership, if you can transform something and do it in an ethical way, is huge. This will make you command respect, and for other people around you just to grow in their respect of you. If you wear the correct clothing, you're going to be respected. Imagine, you're not actually having to talk to someone or be in a group, you just wear the correct clothing. If you're projected into a place of leadership, be it through work, by promotion, or by the fact that you are now the leader, it's the job role, you must, it's an absolute must, dress properly and be fitting. If you wear clothes that are just what you think are proper and you don't wear the proper clothes, that is a big, big mistake, because remember, all eyes are on you. And this is the exact same way when you're in your personal life. If you go out there with something really colourful or some big design on your clothes and you go into a social situation, it is definitely going to be noticed for sure. You are going to cause a stir, let me tell you, for sure. You're going to cause people to look. It's the same way in your personal life. Dressing up and doing the right thing and showing it is really important too. If you can actually show and be confident in it. Now, there's absolutely no point in wearing a suit in a social situation such as a bar or a nightclub when it's not the done thing. If it's overdressed, it's a killer. But if you actually go and wear something that you're comfortable in and has that little bit of class to it, you might just use a shirt and perhaps something in your top pocket. Slight change, a slight difference, but people will notice that slight difference, especially if it's up near your face on that top pocket. So people are going, the masses of people are going to show, well, others, look at this guy's top pocket, look what's going on, he's trying to be different. The cost of rudeness and just being incivil is huge in organisations and in jobs and positions. If you're in any way a supervisor or boss or a leader or wish to be, but this is also the exact same in your personal life, you have to show civility to others, and part of that is showing empathy and trying to help people out in their own way, but also noticing and really truly understanding, being authentic to people wanting or feeling as if they're not good enough or if they have a problem. Obviously, if you don't have a problem, you can't just solve another person's problem if you don't understand it, but there's a totally different mannerism if you actually show understanding of how you communicate it to others. If you genuinely really feel empathetic towards that other person, it's going to be noticed by others around you in your bubble. 2 or 3 people will see that, they will respect you, and then it will be communicated to other people again by those 2 or 3 people, and then you and your true opinion will be respected. People will just notice that you're a good person and your opinion is the moral one. That moral fabric is there as well, showing this empathetic way. So this is the ideal. This is what we're trying to promote. So through all those things, having this and avoiding this rudeness of approach is going to give you and make you stand out both professionally and personally. I went and I checked out what people felt about, well, respect and leadership and so on. And this is what I found. I noticed that, interestingly enough, people thought it was rather important. So if you think it's important, please subscribe. If you haven't already, please do. Thanks if you have. Until now. But until next time, have a wonderful day.